right. Welcome back, everybody. Lead with Empower podcast. We got Zack Morello in the house, Dan Jaskot. Zach, how we doing?
I'm doing well, Dan. How's your morning?
My morning is good. It's a little chilly outside today. I'm excited. We have a fun program tonight down in Stratford
That's right.
with their it's a kind of a student and parent engagement program as part of their after school programming. Great Dr. Maxwell, who we worked a lot with this summer during our summer leadership program down there in Stratford. So excited to be out there. Liz Crosby from down Stratford as well. Great people doing some great stuff down there. So we're excited to go bring some of our fun, empowering play to the
Yeah.
Stratford Wooster Middle School community tonight. So
Yeah. Our last program with them was awesome. We got some new toys and new activities that we brought to the table that they were able to enjoy. So I'm excited to see like again the relationship between the adult and kid come in and play, not literally come into play together.
yeah, right. And that was probably the best part about last week's event at Flood Middle School was to see the parents watching their children do these team building games and like do really well, and like the pride and like just the eyes, like the
Yeah.
smiles were really awesome, like really rewarding program. So we thank Liz and Amy and Dr. Maxwell for the opportunities to go down there and bring some play. And it was the ride from Stratford to Middletown that time of day is usually miserable. It was a little less miserable because I had all those smiles and all those laughs kind of ingrained in my head from the experience. So looking
Yeah.
forward
a
to
hun-
tonight.
100%. And speaking of celebrations with Empower, I think we have some news.
Yeah, so a couple episodes ago, we had to throw a little shout out there to our boys over at the Tolland High School soccer program. They had just wrapped up their league championship, which they won that, and were getting ready for their state playoff run. And on Saturday, whatever the date was, this past Saturday, they were playing in the Class M CIAC boys soccer state championship game against a powerhouse program, Stonington Soccer, who is
Hmm.
down the southern part of the state. They have a great history of being super competitive in the state of Connecticut, and so it was a duel between two powerhouse programs, and I'd be remiss without saying big congrats to Tolland Soccer, repeat state champions for Class M in boys soccer. And I wasn't at the game, and this is probably my own little stupid superstition over here. Coach Kokomo, I'm going to say this to you right now because I know you were telling, hey, we're playing this day at this time. So, yeah, oh, look at that. We got the audience going bananas right here. I love it. This is probably stupid and very elementary of me, but this is how I'm wired. We have strengths and weaknesses. I wanted so bad to go to one of these games, right? But, we worked with the team the past like 4 or 5 preseasons, worked with the captains prior to the start of this season. And I wanted desperately to go to one of these games, but in my head, I was like, well, I didn't go to a single game last year and they won the state championship. They're on a run right now, and I haven't gone to a game this year. What would happen if I show up for the? And again, I know it's
Oh
stupid,
yeah,
but if I
yeah.
go to a game, if I go to this championship game, and God forbid they lose, I wouldn't be. They wouldn't even know I was there. I would feel horrible.
You're the
So
odd factor
yeah, I don't want to be
in the
that
play.
reason why
Yeah.
I'm a karma guy. You know what I mean? Where
Yep.
lucky underwear, lucky socks, and all that type of stuff. But yeah, so I wanted to go. I didn't go because I didn't want to be the karmatic reason why you guys didn't repeat as champions. So
Hold on.
congratulations.
Hold on. That sounds like passive leadership to me.
Yeah, it is something like that,
Yeah.
right?
You
Yeah,
made the decision to sacrifice your time there
we
so that they could win.
yeah, right. They didn't need me
Yeah.
there. I was
Yeah.
rooting for them in spirit, just like I was
Yeah.
last year. But impressively, these two teams, they played to a 0-0 tie for, I want to say there was 3 minutes left in the game. And it might have been even less than that. We're going to throw the video when we put this up on our YouTube channel. We'll put in the video of the winning goal, but they literally scored on a corner kick header. And I don't know anything about soccer, but I'm watching from the video clip. It was a freaking ridiculous corner kick to the far post, and then out of nowhere, one of the captains header in. And I want to say it was either like under a minute left, right? So they played like 95% of the game to a 0-0 tie.
Yeah.
And then this just ridiculous play to score with next to nothing time left. And they held on to wrap up their back-to-back state championships.
That's cool.
Yeah, big ups to Coach Kokomo and the boys over there in Tolland. Enjoy the accolades, enjoy the awards, and enjoy all the ceremonies that you're going to be part of. I know Tolland went over the top last year. The town of Tolland went over the top last year celebrating these boys. So I would venture to say we're going to get a pretty good ticker tape parade situation for the repeat championships. And, great. It's great that they won. I'm super excited and proud of the boys. One of the coolest things about this dynamic, though, and having the opportunity to work with these guys and getting to know them, over the course of the past handful of years, it is so easy, right? You win a high school you win a championship at any level. It is so easy to dial things back and to think like, well, what else do we have to accomplish? We check that box. We can go into coast mode, right? Everybody's going to lay down to us because we're the defending champs. And it's the other way around. And one of the coolest things of our experiences this year working with the team, whether it was the team as a whole or the four captains of the program, these guys, coaching staff, all the way down to the last guy, newest guy on the roster, these guys really bought into the fact that, like, they are the bullseye now. Right? Defending champions from 2024, no one's going to roll over for you. If anything, you're going to get every single team's best, whether they're a more talented team than you or not. They are gunning for you, right? There's nothing better than being the team that upsets the apple cart and takes down the number one seed, right? Takes down the defending champions, knocks them out of the tournament. Everybody's striving to be that. And this is right in theme with our episode today, right? We talked last episode about the levels of leadership, and we talked about active, passive leadership and followership. We're going to lean into a little bit about the level one leadership of self today, which is one of the reasons why this Tolland team was super talented. Don't get me wrong. Very, very talented team. Coach does a great job of kind of playing to their strengths and making sure their whole soccer operation is all around maximizing the individual skill sets that everybody brings to the table. But one of the things that impressed me the most about this team in our work this summer and then over the course of the season was they did not let their foot off the gas with regards to two key areas of self-leadership: effort and preparation. The captain's practices over the summer, right? And this is all stuff that's done without coaches being there, without that adult. These captains set standards. They wanted to build a culture that was around freaking effort. It was around picking each other up when someone was maybe down. And it started in August. Right. It started in maybe even before that, probably started in like June, July, when they started to get togethers for these captains practices. There was a heightened level of like, we understand we are number one on everybody's list of let's take them out. And if we don't take our effort and preparation up to a new level, we're going to have one of those seasons that we look back and be like, oh, what could have been? What could have been? So a big time shout out to the four captains of the Tolland High School soccer program for really setting the highest of standards for high school sports and doing what they needed to do to coach themselves and coach their teammates to really buy into that and understand like what we do in June, July, and August is going to have a direct effect on what we're able to do in October and November when it really matters. So shout out Coach Kokomo, and I got to give a shout out to Coach too, just for empowering his guys to do that.
Hmm.
Coach Kokomo spent a lot of time this summer away working away from the guys, working with the captains to help them build out this culture that they're really trying to build, and empowering his athletes to hold one another accountable and to create those standards and hold everybody to those standards. And again, watching you guys run on the field in the video clips after nailing down the W a couple weeks ago, it all started there. So shout out. Can't wait to see the awards and parades and whatnot that you guys have earned for all of your hard work and preparation.
Yeah, I mean, just a little bit of off that is in my sport in high school, I was a swimmer, and that was a
Yep.
very, very individual sport. You are literally staying in your lane and swim fast, and that's how you helped your team. You beat the other lanes, and like that's it. So the team effort is it's a lot different than what it would be for soccer or football, where you really need to have that coordination with the athlete next to you. So to hear about at a high school level, 17, 18-year-old captains that designing, try hard practices and preparation and preparedness, I guess is the better word for it, on their own outside of the coaches, and nothing against the coaches, to bring their team together and create that culture, the third level of leadership, create that culture around being ready for the next game is just even more impressive to me, because like I was a captain, but I'm like, you swim fast, and like that's
I'll swim fast. We'll be
I'll
good.
swim fast, and then we're good. Like that's why I'm giving them credit for that, because I was never at that level, especially in high school.
Yeah, no, and it was all a lot of intention, all right, a lot of detailed conversations between coach and captains, between captains and athletes, and then athletes back to the captains, up to the coaches, and it doesn't happen on accident. So good on you guys for really buying in and for not resting on your laurels, because there's nothing worse in it, in life, in sport, there's nothing worse than a group who has or an individual who has an extremely high potential, who never does the dirty work to live up to that potential.
Yep.
And this group was a total opposite. There were a couple athletes whose stats this year were down from last year, and the selfish leader is thinking like, I should have more goals, I should have more assists, I should have more play, and like to get guys to buy into, hey, it's less about these numbers and stats we're putting up, and it's more about what are we doing to drive our team towards another championship. And to get a bunch of 15 to 18-year-old high school boys to buy into that is not easy.
Huge.
Kudos to everybody from the coaching staff on down for really owning it and taking on that self-leadership and leadership of others to embrace their role, bust their ass to perform their role to the best of their ability, and then really hold each other to those high standards and coach each other up to those standards, which is cool because they didn't get there. And Zach brought up a phrase, try hard. They didn't get there from avoiding being a try hard. And
Yeah.
one of our topics of conversation today, for some reason, and I don't know when it started, but being a try hard is now used as an insult.
An insult, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's it. I don't want to swear on here, but it makes me angry.
It's nuts. It's not. So,
Yeah.
like, we talk about leadership of self, right? And that how it's this internal battle that you're fighting in your heart and in your mind to, like, do what's right, to hold yourself accountable, to work towards achieving goals and blah, X and Y, and so on and so forth. You can't do any of that stuff without trying hard. You
Hmm.
can't do any of that stuff without putting forth tremendous effort. So, kind of part number one over here. One, if you are a person who receives the insult, you're being a tryhard, put that bad boy on your resume. Be a
Yeah.
freaking tryhard. Be the one that is trying to outwork the challenge. Second, if you are the person throwing that around as an insult, step back, look in the mirror, and we talked about this offline. Like, think about all the things that you're not doing to achieve what you want to achieve. Someone else is doing it. That
Hmm.
other try hard is the one that's doing it. And it's not really rocket science. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room to work hard, to put forth great
Hmm.
effort. You don't need to be a great athlete to work hard, put forth great effort. You don't have to be the most talented individual in performing arts or music to work hard and put forth great effort. To quote my boy, another high school sports team that I love, Coach Petruzzi and the Raritan Rockets football program, gas, you just have to give a shit.
Yep.
You just have to give enough of a crap to put forth great effort. And sometimes it's good enough to take home a championship. Sometimes it doesn't lead to those types of accolades. But the beautiful thing is if you are a tryhard, you can
Yeah.
go to bed every night, win, lose, or draw, saying, you know what? I gave everything I had to this day, to this challenge, to this situation. And you could rest a little bit easier knowing that you did that.
Right. And I'll add on to it too. When I think it, I theoretically, I think insulting somebody as saying that they're a tryhard, you were insecure or too insecure enough to put that effort in yourself. So subconsciously or consciously, you wanted to shackle that person down to make them be embarrassed of how well they're doing, or not even well they're doing, how hard they're trying, so that you don't look so bad for not doing it yourself.
Yeah.
That's how I always experienced it and looked at it. And it's just unfortunate that that became like such a mainstream thing to say, oh, try hard because you're putting an effort in. Well, yeah, that's coming from you can't do it. So you have to
Or
insult
you're
the
not
people that
willing to
can
do it.
or not willing to do it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
So for anybody listening right now, anybody can be a tryhard. Be a
Be a
tryhard.
try hard. Yeah.
And again, it's not a matter of like, do you have the God given gifts to do it? It's do you care enough to do it? Right. So you don't
Hmm.
need to be a great athlete, great intellect. You don't have to be a great performer to do it. But typically, the people that achieve greatness status are the ones that are busting their tail. They are the tryhards. So,
Yep.
and you're right. I think one of the other things too, and this is much more common now than it was prior to social media, but because everything is recorded, because everything can be recorded, because everything can be put out there, and we've seen a lot, especially in youths, in youths that we work with, trying hard, putting forth great effort, knowing that there's a chance you could fall short, there's a chance that you can be successful. A lot of times, there's a hesitancy to be a tryhard because there's this concern of like, what happens if and when I fail? Like,
Hmm.
who's going to videotape me busting my ass but losing something? And who's going to talk trash? So like there's this extra pressure of like, if I don't try hard and I fall short, I have a built-in excuse. Oh, I just didn't do my best. I didn't feel like giving my best effort at that time. That's
Yep.
why I failed. Bullshit. Right?
Yeah.
You failed because you didn't give your best effort and you were scared to give your best effort because you were scared of failure.
Hmm. And I think the same applies to, or on the opposite end, not the same, on the opposite end, when you realize that you've had the experience of trying something and being a try hard and being successful, you're going to do it again and again and again, because like then you don't care about embarrassing yourself, because you remember that one time that like, oh, there's no way I can do that, but you know what, let me put some effort in anyway. And then you were successful at it. You're like, you surprise yourself, you surprise others, and you could get addicted to like, okay, you know what else am I good at that I didn't know I was good at? And
Yep.
it becomes a positive domino effect of putting an effort toward other things, or that same thing over and over again, getting really good at it. And it's an awesome feeling. It's just that, like you said, that pressure of failing or looking like a clown or whatever the case is, that you make that excuse of like, oh, I didn't try that hard to do it
Yep.
anyway, so it doesn't
That's
matter.
why I didn't get a good grade. That's why I didn't make the
Yep.
team, right? I just didn't put forth the effort. I didn't feel like it that day. That's
Hmm.
crap.
Yep.
Two things. One, for those of you, again, we really focused on in our last episode and a little bit today, this idea of self-leadership, right? And really kind of nailing down, like, what am I doing to handle my business before I start to try to have an impact on others and lead other people? Effort is the first step, right? To effectively lead yourself and to effectively coach through challenge and to effectively impact others around you. Um, Hard work, effort, it's noticeable and it's contagious, right? And we talk about momentum a lot, and when you get a lot of people working their tail off and pulling in the same direction, this positive momentum builds, and the bigger it grows, the harder it is to stop. And the same thing can be said on the other side. When you got a bunch of people that are putting forth half effort, it turns into this negative momentum. It turns into the blame game. And just like positive momentum, the larger this negative momentum grows, the harder it is to stop as well. So, what's the best way to put your foot down and do it? Freaking bust your tail. Try to put, and again, we all have good days and bad days and ups and downs. And there's days when we're maybe sick and we're not, feeling like 100%. That means if you have 75% to give 75%. Right? If you have 85% to give all 85. And
I
we
think
we
that.
talked about the in plain sight activity last episode, and
Mhm.
literally it's a game where we hide this black pen that's like 50 cents, right? And another thing that I love about that activity, first, it does focus and really lean into like some tactics that could help you become a better self leader. What I love about that as well is that we see a bunch of participants. Again, it could be as young as 4 years old, it could be high level athletes, it could be corporate teams. We see participants get so freaking excited over finding a 50-cent black pen on the floor. And a lot of times we'll ask, like, why? Like, why did you get so excited about the pen? Like, if this was on the ground when you walked into the program, 100% of you would have stepped over it and not even given the pen a thought. But
Yep.
now it's part of this activity and it's the goal you have to accomplish. And then to see people's faces and the excitement and the celebrations when they find this insignificant, inanimate object on the ground is awesome. And
Mhm.
9 times out of 10, when we ask, like, why do you feel good about finding this silly pen? It's, I had to work hard to do it.
Effort.
I had to
The
work hard to
effort.
do it.
Yep.
I had to put forth a level of effort that maybe I'm a little uncomfortable doing,
Mhm.
but I was persistent. I put forth that effort, and the reward feels great. So for those of
Right.
you that are like hesitating to put yourself out there, remind yourself that nothing great happens without potential for failure.
Mhm.
Nothing great happens when you're just kind of staying in the comfort bubble and failure is not even remotely an option. So by
Yes.
by trying hard, by being a tryhard, by putting forth this tremendous effort, yes, there's a chance that a failure might happen, but there's also a great chance of a great accomplishment. And even in the setting where a failure does happen, you became a little bit better at whatever it is that you're trying to do.
Yep. I mean, we could talk about this for forever, but like it's like that whole thing, earned a dollar or given a dollar. Like which dollar is worth more? Like
Yeah.
you're more likely to make more dollars if you earned it versus whether you're given it. And same thing with the effort standpoint of, for instance, yesterday I went through a program with they were fifth graders, and we did this activity called stepping stones. They're trying to get from one side of an area to another in a specific way. And the first 5, 10, 15 minutes, they can't even get 10 feet past that cone, or 10 feet into the zone that they're supposed to, of the 50 feet that they have to go. And you just see them get more and more frustrated, having to start over, start over, start over. But the effort to start again, they don't realize, because they're in it, they're there, they're getting mad. But every time they do it, they get a little further. They get a
Yep.
little further to their end goal. And then there's one time where you see it all the time, where like they almost get it. They're right there at the end. They get mad that they messed up and have to start over. I always stop them, like, guys, stop, stop. How far did you get just now? They're like, but we were right there. Da, da, da. Like, yeah, but your first round, how far did you get? And they look at the floor. They're like,
Like
that
six
far.
inches.
Yeah. So like celebrate that success. I don't care if you get it all the way to the end. It's that effort of getting a little bit better over time. And like speaking of over time, we're talking about an hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour program of the effort over time, that during that span of time. But it's the effort day in, week in, month in, year in, that really where you can see a difference in yourself when it comes to whatever activity, sport, college, like school, that you're a part of, where that little bit of effort more each time is going to make a huge difference
Yep.
when you get to that goal. Yep.
And with the effort, if you have this approach of like, let's focus on the journey or the process, and like if we really throw ourselves into that,
Hmm.
the results kind of take care of themselves, right? And,
Right.
and it doesn't guarantee a victory. It doesn't guarantee the best grade on the test or the project, but it guarantees you are the best you. And if it's a team environment, your team put forth the best version of the team in that moment. And by embracing the journey, it's a little bit more fulfilling because you can look back on like, hey, the first few times we did it, we made it 10%. As we continued to pour ourselves into this process and try to improve our process, we got, the 45%, 60% done, 80%. And then before you know it, you're crossing a finish line, and you're not necessarily celebrating the physical act of completion, but you're celebrating like, look at where we were, look at how it went in the early goings, and look at what we did now.
Yep.
And that's what effort can do for you. Those types of feelings and accomplishments is what, pouring yourself into a situation, being the best you in a situation can do for you. So be a freaking try hard.
Try
It's a good thing.
hard.
And it's effort can help you overcome deficiencies in other areas, right?
Yes.
If you're not the best student in your pre-algebra class, like studying your butt off, being focused when you're doing your classwork, homework, going to extra help a couple days a week, those are all effort things that doesn't guarantee you're going to have the highest grade in the class, but it's guaranteeing that you're going to be the best that you can be in that class.
Yeah, and just like you said, effort into other things that when you walk into our program, one of the things that we will say is 99% chance you are never going to see these activities ever again in your lives. Like
Yep.
we've created these for to come up to put you in scenarios that will help in other parts of your life, of other schools, athletics and whatever the case might be. So when you try here, when you put effort in here, when you're try hard here and doing these dumb little programs and little games of finding a pen and getting across a gym, like you can use that elsewhere, and that's one of the
Yep.
things that we help them convince to get their head around, like, oh, okay, cool, like that actually makes sense.
Yep. And that's one of my,
Yeah.
like, again, going back to in plain sight, the hide the pen activity. I love, like, especially working with young ones, the middle school, elementary age school, high school kids, like at the end of the program, like I'll always try to seek out that one participant that really, really, really poured themselves into that activity and maybe experienced some struggle and did not quit, did not look for shortcuts, did not look for the easy out or the handout, and just kept on grinding it out and grinding it out until they got the job done. Like, I'll be like, hey, here's the pen for you. And like they leave the gym or leave the program all pumped up that like they got
Yeah.
noticed for their effort.
Hmm.
And again, why did Tolland High School soccer repeat? Yeah, they're a talented group, but if they didn't rest on their laurels and show up to games half-assing things and just saying we'll rely on being more talented, they outworked a lot of the teams they were on the field against, and that can
That's
help you
sick.
overcome a lot of deficiencies. Um,
100%.
Moving on, Zach, so controlling the controllable, leadership of self, kind of our theme over here. The second one kind of goes hand in hand, right? So is this idea of being purposeful and preparing for success, right? Now, in order to do that, you need to have effort, right? So, I think the people that struggle with the concepts of preparedness are the same people that maybe struggle putting forth great effort into situations. So
Yep.
the effort needs to be there to be prepared. But I want to bring up the key punch activity.
Hmm.
So for those of you listening, key punch is a game. It's a timed activity. We typically do multiple trials with a group where our hope is that they're able to complete each trial as efficiently as possible, but then also that they take time to look at how do we improve our plan? How do we improve our effort? How do we improve our communication so that we can improve our completion time from round to round? So like if it takes you 5 minutes in round one, what are we going to do to be better than 5 minutes in round two? So on and so forth. So in your experience this year running that activity, it's again one of my favorites because there's so many different ways we can facilitate it. Talk a little bit about how lack of preparation affects the results in key punch and how working to improve the preparation can lead to greater results in that activity.
Yeah, so I think that, like a bunch of our or not programs, a bunch of our activities are shown to, if you prepare a little bit, just a little bit, it's going to greatly uh, affect how the outcome is during the first, second, and third rounds. But key punch is extremely evident on when you put in that effort of preparation, that it's going to turn out a lot better during the actual action. And what's cool about Key Punch is that it's designed where you look at it and it's a little bit more active. There's some running involved if you want. There's communication. There's all these cool elements of the activity that's very go 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 go. You want to just like you just want to hear the bell and just start running. And our as a facilitator, you almost let that happen with some groups, and to see if their preparation is going to be natural or it needs to be pushed a little bit. But it's one of those things where because it's a timed activity, you can see and like actually see the time either increase or decrease based
Yep.
off of how much time they're spending at the cones, or at the starting line. And what's cool is we'll also say we're not putting a time cap on you guys before we hit go. We're
Yep.
not rushing you to start. We're saying, all right, I'll give you some time to strategize, and you can either take 30 seconds, you can take no time, or if you took 5 minutes to really think about it, you're going to get really good at this game in a couple rounds, rather than like, okay, let's do it this way and let's go.
Yep.
And all this, and you see the mistakes happen over and over again. And I know you'll touch upon it too. We know this activity. We know how to help you. And it boggles my mind that so many time after time after time, that they don't listen. They're like, no, that's wrong. We got this. We're gonna do it this way. We're like,
Give
okay.
it, hey, that's the best part about the experiential learning model, right? So,
Yeah,
like, if they really butcher key punch in round one, like nothing really bad is going to happen to them.
right.
But they have this experience of like, oh my god, we had to restart and run back to the cones and then run back to this rope circle and restart, 5 times in that last round. It was brutal. So
Hmm.
that experience really drives the learning. And I brought up key punch because um, kind of the same thing happens with every group we do this activity with, regardless of age and group type.
Yep.
We explain, and to provide a little frame of reference, like key punch, there's 2 cones, and it's a distance from, there's a rope circle on the ground, and inside of that rope circle, there's these blue poly spots.
Dots.
Yeah,
Yeah.
blue dots, and they're numbered. And we'll do either 1 through 30 or 1 through 36. And what the group is trying to accomplish when we say go, clock starts, they all run up to this circle one at a time. They go into the circle, step on a number, and then get out. So Zach goes in and touches number 1. As soon as Zach gets out of the circle, the next person goes in and touches number 2. And they repeat that process until they've touched all the dots and they get back to their starting line. And one of the key rules is the one person in the circle rule. And what happens, groups will hear it, we'll explain it, we'll answer their questions, and we'll give, hey, go back, you got some strategy time. And again, the group will not realize how much effort and preparation is required to find success in the activity. So their initial plan is not really a plan at all, but we'll call it a plan. They'll say, all right, everybody just go up there, and if you're near the number, just go in and step on it.
Hmm.
And then within the first 5 numbers, 2 people go into the circle, restart. Like, oh, okay. They rush back, they run back up to the circle. Within the first 6 numbers, 2 people go in at the same time again. Oh, restart. Oh, and then over and over and over again. And then after round 1 is completed, and it's usually like 7 minutes.
7 minutes. Yeah.
Right? How many times did you have to restart? 6. Okay. Why did you have to restart? 2 people went in the circle. Okay, cool. Why do you think 2 people went in the circle so often? Well, the number was in between two of us, and we both went in at the same time. Yep, you're right. And that happened 7 other times, leading to all
Yep.
these restarts. What do you think we can do differently in round two to avoid that mistake?
Hmm.
Oh, we should assign numbers. And then, oh, yeah, that's a great idea. And then if everybody knows their numbers and just does their job, in theory, it should help you avoid two people going in the circle at the same time, which in turn should lead to a better completion time. Let's try it out. And they'll go from doing very bare minimum levels of preparation. Just go up
Hmm.
there, go up to the circle, whatever number's near you, you go and step. They'll put forth a higher level of effort into this idea of preparation. All right, everybody stand in a line. We're going to count off numbers. And oh, great. We have 10 people in our group. So if you have number 1, you're going to be responsible number 1, number 11, and number 21. Zach, you have number 2. You're going to be responsible 2, 12, 22. Everybody knows their numbers. All right, cool. And what you'll see now, they'll go up to the circle. They'll just kind of hang out in an area, but now everybody knows their numbers. And so they took preparation from basically 0% up to like 75%. And
Right.
the participants see a big change in their results. They went from maybe 7 minutes in round 1 down to like 2.5 minutes in round 2, and it feels good. And then the next layer of facilitation is like, hey, Zach, I noticed you were always standing kind of in one spot by the rope circle and looked like you were standing between two people. Did your team have an order? Like you were standing in an order around the circle? Yeah, we did that because it helped us avoid two people going in the circle. Cool. But Zach, all your numbers were on the other side of the circle. So every time
Yep.
it was your turn, you had to go all the way over there and then go back to your spot in the circle. Does that make your time fast or does it slow you all down? Yeah, it probably slows us down. So there's another kind of embedded area of preparation in that activity. First off, it comes in the planning phase, right? Does
Hmm.
everybody know their role? Does everybody know their assignments? Is everybody locked in on, hey, this is my piece of the puzzle, and if I'm a great passive leader and I do it to the best of my ability, team is going to be successful. The
Yep.
next layer is while the game is going on, while they're in the middle of this time trial, they'll go from like, oh, we need to stand in a circle so we don't go into the circle at the same time. They'll go
Yeah.
from that to, hey, it doesn't matter where the hell you're standing. Bust your butt looking for your next number, get near it. And when it's time to do
Boom.
the job is easier to do. So
Hmm.
we see this a lot with groups where they're so hesitant to put the effort forth in the preparation phase because they're worried about having to do extra work. When it comes time to do the job, they end up having to do the job 2, 3, 4, 5 times because they weren't prepared. So by avoiding a little bit of work on the front end, they actually have to do 5 times the work when it comes time to actually do the task because they're not
Hmm.
prepared to do it. So this lesson of like putting effort forth on the front end is going to actually make doing the job a little bit easier.
Right. And I'll add on to it too. When it comes to the levels of leadership, it is also, and I've completely forgot levels of leadership. It's shown during the preparation part, and I've seen it where there is one person who might be usually a passive leader who tries to be an active leader that says the strategy that we know is going to be the fastest. They're like, guys, why don't we take the time to like assign numbers? And they're in the back trying to like get their voice heard while the active leader, the loud one, is like, let's do it this way. Okay, we're gonna go as fast as possible. Whoever's closest to the number just goes for it. And you hear the right strategy, the quickest one being said during the before the first round, and you're sitting there like, do I want to like, of course it depends on the group dynamic, but
Yep.
like, do you want to interrupt to be like, hey, Susie Smith over here had a
You
pretty
should
good
listen to that idea.
idea. Yeah, you had a pretty good idea. Let's dial in on that. Or do you let it ride out? And if you let it ride out, it's interesting when the strategy does become, okay, you know what? Maybe we should be a little bit smarter and assign numbers. And Susie Smith's like, I said that 10 minutes ago, you
Yeah, we
know,
did this
and
on round 1 like I was trying to, yeah.
we'd be way further along. And, second thing I wanted to add is depending on the age and dynamic of the group of who we're working with, you see what kind of preparation goes in. I want to point out, I had an accountant group that I was with. There was a group of like 20, 30 of them, and they're grown adults, high level careers, they're all doing well for themselves. And I made them do a physical game like Key Punch, where there's running and craziness going on involved back and forth. And that group prepared before their first round. Like I believe they assigned numbers before even getting round one done.
Yep.
And the way that they assign numbers, like I tested them on it, and like because they're accountants, like they had their numbers like that.
Locked in.
They moved probably at 25% of the speed capacity as like a Tolland soccer group was moving, but their first round was 10 times as fast
Yep.
because they had the strategy there. So I had to facilitate a different way around that when it comes to physicality of it and where they should stand rather than what their strategy actually is.
Yep.
So it was a different way of preparing for a group like that versus an athletic group.
And you bring up a great point, because one of the things we talked about too is like effort doesn't necessarily mean like you have to run as physically as fast as possible.
Nope.
Effort doesn't
Right.
necessarily require, it can require a physical component. It doesn't always require a physical component. So like you said in this instance, your example, like the effort was on the front end of making sure everybody understood the goal, everybody understood their assigned roles and responsibilities, and then everybody kind of communicated to ensure that they were doing their part and the people around them were set up for success as well. So again, we talk about like effort being an ultimate separator and preparation being an ultimate separator. Doing those two things can help you overcome some deficiencies.
Physicality. Yeah.
And
Right.
what's cool about it, and this is something I'll debrief with a lot of groups, like, hey, your first time, and I always withhold kind of their completion times until the end of the game. I think it's a cool reveal. Like, hey, your first round, it took you 7.5 minutes. Your final round, it took you 1 minute and 5 seconds. Why did it happen?
Yeah.
Did you suddenly learn how to become like freaking Olympic sprinters? They're like, no. But we did put a harder effort in when we were like trying to find our numbers and going in. Cool, right? So it didn't require you to be a world-class sprinter, but because you upped the intensity of your effort, it led to a greater result. What else happened? Well, we prepared better. We assigned numbers. Everybody knew their job. We weren't guessing who was going to go in and touch a number. When my 9 teammates were working to do their numbers, I busted my ass preparing to find where my next number was, and it actually made doing the job a little bit easier. So really, it's a cool game that highlights effort and preparation, and the more you put forth into those two concepts, the easier it is to do the job. And I brought up Raritan High School football and Coach Petruzzi, one of his favorite quotes: if you don't have time to do it right the first time, when are you going to find time to do it a second time? And like, so two things to kind of close up our episode with. One, putting that effort into like the pre-activity, whatever the activity is, whether it's a work project, a school project, whatever it is, putting forth the effort into the pre-activity phase is going to help you do the actual initiative, whatever it is, a little bit more efficiently and effectively, because you poured yourself into like getting all the ducks in a row before you actually did it. You're not building the plane while you're flying it. And then the second thing, we're going to share a resource with you in this episode. And again, very innovative name. It's an initiative action planning document. And it's essentially, it takes like this concept of like, hey, we have something we want to do, whether it's student council, group of athletes, group of students, group of employees for a company. We have something we have to accomplish. And it really breaks it down into these steps to ensure that you're putting forth the great effort in the preparation phase, so that when it comes time to actually execute, you're able to hit the ground running, as opposed to trying to figure it out while you're doing. When you're trying to figure things out while you're doing it, you're a little bit less effective. When you have a structure that you're working within, you're able to kind of put your effort and energy into doing your responsibilities. And it also allows you to make adjustments a little cleaner, because you can look back on your initial plan and say, hey, this part wasn't working. Let's make an adjustment here and fix that part, fix that spoke in the wheel, so we're rolling a little bit more smoothly.
Yeah, and I'll add on, you can do that with anything
Anything.
in your life,
Yep.
anything. Like when it comes to, your nutrition, what you're going to eat that day, what you're going to lift at the gym that day, and like what you're going to do at work that day. Like it goes it and it doesn't have to be such a big picture like I want to win state champions in soccer. Like awesome, do that too, but it can be as micro as you want.
Yep. Yeah, and like one of the things that going circling it back, and again, Tolland soccer Class M, CIAC boys soccer champions. That was one of the things that the captains brought into their captains practices. So if you take a shot on net in practice and you miss the net and the ball goes rolling 100 yards away, before you get into the drill, it's your job to chase it down at full speed and bring the ball back.
Yep.
That's so that started that mentality of that like we're going to pour every ounce of ourselves into this journey of trying to repeat as champions. It started in captain's practices in June and July with a standard of that. You miss the net with a ball,
Go get
chase
it.
it down and bring it back before you get into the next drill.
Mhm.
So we're going to, again, share that resource for you. Essentially, this document, this initiative action planning document, we'll post it up on the video here, and we'll also link a PDF of it in some way, shape, or form to the video. But essentially, it's what are you trying to accomplish? What are the different it gives you an opportunity, a section where you're going to brainstorm different ideas. It's going to give you a section where you take all those brainstormed ideas and you're able to formulate them into like one consensus idea. It gives you a section where you can break down the big project into different roles and responsibilities and then delegate those roles based on the strengths and weaknesses of your teammates and yourself. And then probably most importantly, it gives you how are you going to measure success. And it gives you an opportunity to look back and evaluate what worked well, what didn't work well, and if you had to do this similar project again, how would you maintain the things that worked well and then improve upon the weaknesses? So, I can't say enough. Zach, you're very gifted.
No.
No, but like for people that aren't naturally the most athletic or the most intelligent or whatever it might be, effort and preparation are two ways to narrow the gap, and
By a
two
lot.
ways to separate. Leadership is an ultimate separator, and effort and preparation. Like I want to work with people that are not hesitant at all to pour all of themselves into what we're doing. I want to work with people that when we do our operations plans for our programs, that they take a look at it, not the morning of or not right, 10 seconds before the group arrives, but they're locked in and they know what we're trying to accomplish with the group. Because when you have that attitude personally, and when you surround yourselves with those types of people, you are setting yourselves up for great success. And it doesn't
Mhm.
guarantee it, but you're setting yourself up for that. And when the surprises happen and you have to make adjustments because you're so prepared and you and your team members are such hard workers, you're able to overcome some of those surprises that happen in anything, right? The life doesn't go the way we want it to go every day, right? We have to figure out a way to adjust. Being prepared and putting forth great effort is the best way to make those adjustments.
That's it.
Love it. Love it. Well, hey, thanks for tuning in. Again, this is probably going to come out and be posted somewhere around Thanksgiving, give or take,
Yeah.
before or after. But if it's before, have a great holiday break. If it's after, hey, we got 1 month left of 2025 to make it a great damn year. So go ahead and chase it
That's it.
down. And it's going to start with the effort and the preparation, baby.
Sounds good,
Thanks for
man.
checking out the Lead with Empower podcast, Zach. Always a pleasure. Looking forward to the next one, man.
Perfect. Thank you.